thing that I felt like Charlie needed to be much more hard on. Ron DeSantis said that it was a lie that America is stolen land. And I'm
Holy
just
shit. Right.
Right. Why is that not the biggest thing? Democrat Twitter is obsessed with the he wouldn't commit to not doing a full term as governor shit. He said it's not stolen land.
Yeah. It's not accurate, and it shouldn't be. I'm like, no, it actually is. Again, you're the governor of Florida. You were born and raised in Florida. I live less than 50 miles from the Dade Battlefield Memorial Park, right? Why did the natives go to war against the whites?
Right.
Because their land was given the Laramie Treaty.
Florida, more than a lot of states, has a lot of its original indigenous names for cities and parks. I mean, we don't talk about it. We don't address it properly, but it's right here. You can't deny it. There wasn't a peaceful handoff.
No.
It absolutely infuriating shit. And, I do wish that Charlie, that should have had, a gut reaction. Fuck the rules of debate. That should have had, a gut, no, what are you saying?
How can you possibly say that? Yeah.
Right.
So just technically, I'm having a little trouble. I can't put bring the comments onto the screen tonight for some reason. I'm not seeing them in stream.
I have to go see any of them.
So that's weird. Yeah, I have to actually flip over to the Facebook page to see comments. So I apologize if I'm missing. Lori, it's fine. Rant away. If you want to come on the air and rant, I'll send you the link. That's fine. But he was called a liar several times. The audience was feisty last night. It was pretty rowdy.
Stacked the audience, and I'm not mad about it because it worked.
In Fort Pierce, which not where I would have expected a really vocally pro Charlie Crist crowd to come from.
I saw right wingers on Twitter trying to claim that they just bust them in. They bust in random dirty hippies and
to Fort Pierce,
man. Whatever. Okay,
that's pretty funny. Fort Pierce is
cool. It worked. If your boy is so tough, why was that all it took?
Yeah. Those crazy lists that come out every year, worst places in America to move to. Fort Pierce is always one of 2 or 3 Florida places on those lists. Yeah. It's got a lot of crime down there because it's just at the northern edge of the wealthy strip of the coast. It's sort of between Daytona and the wealthy strip. So, a lot of that. Anyway, so I wanted to take a minute and thank all of you who have been supporting us by subscribing on our Patreon. And I want to mention that one of the people that contributes on Patreon is our friend Fred Eater. Fred is getting out of the hospital tomorrow. He had an infection in a toe. He's diabetic. It's a serious matter. But I want to encourage you to download and subscribe to his podcast, Fred's Front Porch, where he every week tells at least one finely crafted, finely written story. It's very relaxing and soothing to the soul to listen to Fred's podcast. So I thank him for his Patreon support. We support his. We pass the same sweaty $10 bill back and forth every month between his podcast and mine. We love Fred very much, and we want to wish him a speedy recovery from his current health problems. He's got a dog at home that he loves very much, and his friends in Arizona have been kind enough to get out there and pet sit Speedy Shine, his dog. So thank you very much to all of you who care about our friend Fred and support him. So thank you to all the Patreon supporters. Thank you to our friend Kelly Smith Realtor. That's not her real last name. Her real name is Smith. But yeah, I just called her Kelly Smith Realtor. Anyway, like it's hyphenated,
Get it into people's minds.
She married it into the realty trade. I don't know. Kelly and I had a quick chat this morning. She was proud to support both my show and my iced coffee habit. And we're proud to have her on board. She was going to run away to Atlanta again this year. She's going to move away, but has decided to stick. So she is a local realtor of great repute. She does a fantastic job. She makes cool little TikTok videos of the houses she's got listed. And you can find her at these numbers.
There we go.
1-813-716-8454. Kelly Smith Realtor. KellySmithFLRealtor.com and Kelly Smith Home on social media. That's TikTok, Facebook, and all those other places. So thank you, Kelly, for supporting the show. By the way, she was when we said we were going to go back on the air. She was the very first person to slap $100 in my hand, and that happened. You were here that night when we had the gathering at the house. She started sponsoring the show 2 weeks before we got it done. So thank you, Kelly. We appreciate your constant support in all the things that we've done over the past 5 or 6 years. Thank you. We appreciate that. And also, you want to thank CJ?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do. Here, let me share screen. Let me do what you just did. Yeah.
This is what we were arguing about. Sam said I was a racist because I couldn't remember the information.
I mean, you don't have to tell the world that. Don't tell them.
I do.
Anyway, so we have Zeha Law, who have been great friends of the show, and of course our friend CJ, the one true CJ, of course, has been a frequent guest. We love him. We love his family. And Zeha Law Firm, I mean, what do you need? They do everything. They do a ton of pro bono work. They do a ton of community work. They are heavily involved in the Latinx community, specifically in Sarasota and Manatee counties, which is just truly invaluable work. As they say, for us, it's personal. They've got a section here on all their practice areas, and you can see they are doing everything, truly. What's wrong with you? Have you been wronged in literally any way? Was someone mean to you? They'd probably take the case, and they'd probably win. Of course, we have the number lower here at the bottom. That is 1-833-255-6697. I'm going to put in the comments, too. Please.
One of these days, I'll make some sticky graphics, and we'll be able to just flash the whole thing up on the screen. Whoa, what happened there?
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Wow, that's right. I am sure.
Got to unshare the unshare.
It's been 2 weeks, man. I forgot. No, I've created an infinite loop of us.
Yes, we forgot how the internet works.
So local. Perfect.
All right. So you got a party to go to. This kid is killing it,
dude. So taking off the hat again.
Yeah.
Taking out the Florida for change hat. Right. So Jackson McMillan, my guys, can I talk about this kid for a second?
Please do.
I know he hates being called a kid, but he's just turning 21, and I'm balding, so I'm going to call him a kid.
I have hats older than that.
Right. So Jackson is the campaign manager on the campaign that I'm running field for. And when I met him at the beginning of the year, I mean, he was 20. He was 20. He just come out of nowhere. Everyone's talking about this kid. And for the longest time, I didn't know what to make of him. But I've been working with him now for a couple months, and truly egoless, a person that does the work and doesn't just like barking orders and wearing suits and being in photo shoots. Shout out to certain consultants that I know in the area. Not going to name names, but I mean, the dude gets out there and he knocks. He shows up to protests when I invite him. Nice. You know, he does the work and truly very gracious, man. You know, easy to work with. He takes criticism when he needs to. He gives it when he needs to, and he truly believes in saving the planet. So he is 21. He is only asking for donations to the Janet Barnell Warwick campaign. That's votejanetsavtheplanet.com. There's a donation link. Give $21 for a 21st birthday, because a 21-year-old is leading what might be one of the most successful Democratic races I have ever seen. We might flip a seat that's like R+7. So happy birthday, Jackson.
Jackson's like the next Sam Ronen is what I was hearing.
No, man, listen, the essence of organizing is you want to train the kids to be better than you.
Absolutely.
I don't want a next Sam Ronen. I want way better than me. I have so many flaws as an organizer. We can do way better. And you know what? Hey, we got Harrison Lundy already coming up, already doing a lot of stuff that I do better than I ever did it. And he's also like 20. They're kids.
Right.
Amazing.
Right. And that's what needs to happen. We need a bench. You know, we need exactly. People that are less than 70 out, waving signs on the corners and things. We need them to do things other than wave signs for a start. That would be a start.
Hate sign waving. I hate it so much. It's
people in my life are tired of hearing me complain about it, but
there is no good data that sign waving is effective. It just makes a very small minority of people that are over involved in local Democratic politics, who tend to skew older and whiter, feel very good about themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm just not here to waste precious campaign time and media on that.
Saturday, on my way down from Newport Richey to Tampa to knock 150 doors, I passed about 30 DeSantis supporters on the corner at Mitchell Bypass and Little Road. waving signs. I was like, yes, stay there. I'm going to be out knocking voter doors while you're doing nothing on the corner.
Exactly.
So yeah,
it is
we get no data
pointless.
feedback from that. We get no feedback other than people waving birds out the window. So I don't understand.
It's not even feedback. Who are you swaying? Who are you winning? What is the actual like?
Gosh, I wasn't sure about the fiscal
the
policy of Charlie Crist versus Ron DeSantis, but those three old white guys on the corner definitely have to be voting for DeSantis now.
And you know, and I'll just float it out there because I don't think any of them watch the show, and I don't particularly give a shit. There's a group that calls themselves St. Pete for Change. And this is about all they do, is they do sign wavings with candidates. And that's cool, but the candidates can do sign wavings themselves. That's not really essential infrastructure anyone was lacking.
Yeah.
And again, signs don't vote.
Okay.
Signs don't vote.
Let's talk about what really does work. We know that knocking on doors, talking to voters, having relationships with voting communities, we know that works. We know that works better than just about anything else. However, this is going to be the best segue you have heard all week because we haven't done a show in 2 weeks, but still. What we also know works is when the candidates come out and meet with the community and talk to us about the issues that concern us in our daily lives. And so Thursday, For Our Future, the organization that I'm working for.
Good. That was smooth, man.
I mean, I was going to put up the Florida for Change banner, but then I was going to go right into this. So as many of you know, I am again working for Our Future this election cycle. I worked 2018. My health wasn't good enough in 2020, but who I worked with then was Heather St. Amand Klein, who actually is the person that got me my first paid organizing job.
The GOAT, the greatest of all time, the best. We love Heather.
I was like, wait, people get paid to do what I've been doing? I didn't even know. And she is now our regional director for West Central Florida, Hillsborough County. Super proud of her, and I get to work for her in this cycle, which is not at all weird. And I know that, like, I remember that Steph Garza, who hired me at FOF, asked me, are you going to have any problem answering to a woman in authority? And I was like, but I'm a middle-aged white guy, so I'm that was a fair question. Right. But it's just not something, but even more so, though, with Heather, I totally respect how she has dug in and worked to make the life of her child better by her activism and the lives of your child better by her activism. And I'm super, super proud to work as part of her team. So Thursday, we've got company coming to town in the form of Val Demings. And the reason I bring Heather up in that part of the conversation is because in 2018, I was the MC and sort of a behind the scenes helper organizer at Pasco County's first ever Pride event. Heather was on the board, meaning she was much more responsible than I was had anything gone horribly wrong. And she secured Val Demings, who was at that point a candidate for state legislature, I believe, for Congress. 2018
Congress, yeah.
Okay, to come to Pasco Pride, and she shook our hands, she gave us hugs, she talked to the crowd for a few minutes about gay and trans rights, which is a very brave thing to do as a candidate, even then, right? But Val Demings is coming to town on Thursday afternoon at 4:00 with Kathy Castor and Laura Packard, who's a healthcare voter, and she's going to tell her story. She's also a patient advocate. She's going to tell some stories about the people that she's been working with. Where is this happening? It's happening Thursday at 4 p.m. at the Likes Park in downtown Tampa. Yes. Sam, do you know that? I'm sorry, I can't seem to scroll down to get to the rest of the invite here.
Yeah.
Care Force 1 at Likes Park at 4 p.m. That's downtown Tampa, right? That's where the rec one used to be, right by
Likes Gaslight is right next to a TPD headquarters. Ask me why I know this.
Okay, so we're going to be meeting there at 4 p.m. on Thursday. You're going to get a chance to hear a candidate for the U.S. Senate speak. That's always a cool thing that you can talk about later. Someone who was part of the impeachment management team in one of the many impeachments of Donald J. Trump, the former guy. So come out and hear Kathy Castor and meet Val Demings and support what we're doing. By God, if you come out, it's I can write you up as a volunteer for the campaign, and I get credit for that. So I would love to see you drive on down to Tampa, 4 p.m. I found out today that we are not having a checkout meeting at the end of our day on Thursday. That means that I will be able to take you out and have a coffee with you if you come all the way to Tampa for this event. Let's all go somewhere and grab a coffee after work on Thursday afternoon. My treat. How about that?
Yeah.
If 20 people come out and it costs me $100, Well, okay, let's all get together and be there.
Sam Ronen of FOF Partner Florida for Change might even come out and help with that cost too. Honestly,
Yeah. Well, you count as a one-on-one contact for tonight anyway.
There you
So,
go.
yeah.
And I will personally vouch, Coffee with Greg is an absolute fucking delight. He will talk about progressive policy. He will talk about UFOs. Like, what do you want? You'll talk about everything.
Africa, I could tell. I don't like
Africa.
I have 5 really scary Africa stories, and I don't tell them often enough. It was a pretty amazing life.
This is what you're missing.
So come hang out, and we'll get to see Val speak and Kathy Castor speak, and then we'll go somewhere and we'll have a coffee or libation of your choice. Now I don't want to go crazy here. We're picking up a giant progressive drunk party bar tab.
Yeah,
but I want to hang out with you people, and you need to come out and be with where we are, where we're doing campaign activities, because this is all the time I get. This 7:30 to 8:30.
Yeah.
Pretty much after this, I'm going to go to bed tonight.
Yeah.
Because guess why? I'm out tomorrow knocking doors again. Which, by the way, is the most valuable thing you could be doing right now to help the campaigns that you.
It is. Even my dog is doing it.
Yes, your dog is.
I took out Sagan to canvass today. His mom thought it was a horrible idea. She was wrong. He was great at it. The dog crushed it because people came out, were clearly bothered to be canvass, saw the dog, and just immediately.
Yep.
Yeah. No, he was great. I'm so proud of my dog.
So that's what all is going on. Was there anything else that you really wanted to dig into tonight?
Oh man, it's 8 p.m.
You got a party to go to.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I mostly just wanted to bitch and kind of praise Charlie Crist, which
it's like, who are you and what have you done?
It's weird coming out of my mouth. Well, listen, good work is good work. I don't have ego. If you're doing the good thing, you're doing the good thing. Let's hope it actually matters. But mattering means we have to be knocking doors for him too. So
yes.
Let's knock some fucking doors, guys.
Let's do it. I'm happy to schedule anybody anytime. Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'll get you out on a shift. It's super. If you've canvassed in the past and there were paper lists and you sweated it and the ink ran and you couldn't read the doors you're going to, that never happens anymore because we were doing everything on smartphones.
Yes.
Minivan is much easier to use than it was even 4 years ago. I only got lost once today, and it's because one of the houses I was supposed to knock was apparently in a lake, which was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, talk about being underwater on your mortgage.
You're canvassing Aquaman.
Yeah.
The vital Atlantean vote.
Yes. Yes, we've nailed that down. But anyway, it's super easy to get out. I know you get butterflies and it feels a little intimidating, but let me tell you, once a day, I have a conversation with somebody at the door that gives me great hope for where we are. And lately, it's been women, and particularly women under the age of 30, that are like, "Oh hell yes, we are voting this time around." I showed Sam some data from Pennsylvania before the show, and several other states. Women are turning out at a higher percentage than men. Early voting is leaning Democrats' way in several different states. But the lesson is always, we have to run through the tape. We have to continue to generate voter turnout until there's no question that we won the election. And that doesn't happen until November 8th. So we got to knock, and we need you to come help us do that. Phone banking, also an option, but I need to get 5 or 6 people together at a time for the phone bank to really work properly. It's hard to explain. It's a technical thing, but you sit on the dialer, you wait for the beep, you say, "Hi, my name is," and you're in the call with the people. The full-timers in my unit the other night, we did that for an hour. We made something like 1,500 phone calls in an hour. It was remarkable, and got a pretty good response. So if you'd like to help out with those things, let me hear from you. If you want to be super local and super focused, Sam is generating a ground campaign like I have never seen in the Bay Area, and Jackson as well, of course. But Sam is my partner, so that's great stuff. This bodes well. I mean, this is going to make news. If she wins this state leg seat, it's going to make news.
And I am going to gloat. I am going to be a tyrannical asshole on Twitter.
Put on a suit and gloat and
yeah, baby. I'm going to be horrible to deal with.
Rightfully so, man, because you got a great candidate, you got a great campaign manager, and you got a pretty sweet little district there. So
Yes, we do.
By the way,
sorry, you go ahead.
We're coming to the party. You put up an event the other day.
Of course you are. You have to. Everybody should. But listen, I think the geography is important to know because we're both making an ask of people. If you're over in the Tampa area, Pasco area, go to Greg, bother Greg. If you happen to be in Pinellas County, especially in South Pinellas County, come to me. Talk to me.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I tell you, I feel better today than I have in weeks, and that is because we're getting that feedback. Early votes are going in. I turned in my ballot today. As organizers, we can't wait till election day because we're not going to have any time on election day. We're going to be running sunrise to sunset, and then, but like by the time I was done working in 2018, the results were all already in for all the local races, and it was a pretty bittersweet night. Janet Cruz won, but many of the other local races, people I love and care about, like Kelly and Brandy, didn't do so hot. So get out, knock some doors. That helps with your anxiety. If you grew up in a Catholic or Jesuit environment, what the Jesuit priest told you is faith without works is dead. Having faith in young Democrats and young women and young voters to get out there is great, but you need to go to the door and tell them, hey, great, I'm so glad you're voting. Who are the 3 friends you're bringing with you?
Right.
Let's get as many people as we can to the polls, and spend our last 2 weeks running as hard as we can toward the finish line.
Absolutely. Or as Fred Hampton said, theory without action ain't shit.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
yes, he did.
I like, I caught myself last year listening to some Fred Hampton speeches because of the attention that the HBO series got, and I knew who Fred Hampton was, but what a remarkable young speaker. I mean, I can't get over how young he was.
We really don't get the youth angle of Fred Hampton, right? Like even in the movie,
22 years old when he started doing that.
Judas and the Black Messiah, like I liked, but I heard my black activist friends who had concerns, and one of them was like, "Hey, both of the actors playing these kids are in their like late 30s."
Yeah.
It should be known they were children. They were kids. Right. They were kids, and the FBI was threatened by them. That's amazing.
Yep.
Rainbow Coalition. That's what it takes. It takes a Rainbow Coalition.
Yep. Oh, let's just take a minute to say that we've been warning people that this anti-Semitism was of a particularly virile and shitty, fascistic leaning type, and we were right. We've been right the whole time, and it opens the door to all the other kinds of hatred-based violence. It all seems to start with it being okay to be anti-Semitic, and it's not. It's just not. And we need to challenge it wherever we find it, even when it's uncomfortable and it's somebody that's normally on our side of a fight.
Yeah.
And that means that some local people needed to be called out this last couple of weeks for their associations with anti-Semitic groups and causes. And that's unfortunate, but I feel like that's the difference between us and them is we will call out our own and we will hold them accountable for the things they say and do, and not just shine it on because it gets us a Supreme Court seat.
Well, I mean, listen, I'll pick up on this, right? Because I do have a couple thoughts on it, obviously. I'm assuming we're talking about Brother John Muhammad, who just became one of the new city council members in St. Pete. And, I haven't been public about this because it did get so contentious. And frankly, the only people that were really calling him out for anti-Semitism were bad faith actors on the right. And I was sensitive to that. I'm uncomfortable with ties to the Nation of Islam, and I'm uncomfortable with some things that were said. But, again, it's such an important distinction how it works on our side versus their side. Because Brother John, for whatever flaws he may have as a human being, he's open to discourse. He is open to dialogue. He made efforts to try to reach out to members of the Jewish community, and some did and some didn't. And, at that point, the ball is in their court, not his. And the fact that it was a dialogue at all, the fact that there was any kind of reckoning with things said and done is that's not nothing. That's not nothing, and I'm sensitive to that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were engaged in that. I felt like that was not my wasn't really my place to say, but I wanted to bring it up to give you a chance.
When you're the token Jew and local activist. You know how many people were messaging me this shit, and we're just like, "Oh my god, what's your opinion?" And
Oh,
I
I
feel
saw
like,
some of that. Yeah, I was in some of that. Yeah.
yeah. It's interesting, but one slightly related thing I would say, one of the things that I think is being kind of lost in all the conversations about Kanye now, who has demonstrated both anti-blackness and anti-Semitism very rapidly in the last week or so, is like, yeah, these things aren't coincidental. Anti-Semitism is usually like the shot or the chaser for anti-blackness, anti-queerness. It's really hard to find people that hate one of them without also hating us. And that's not
Right.
coincidental. That's strategy. That's how it works. And I feel like there are a lot of people missing that. And we're having a lot of arguments that maybe aren't productive. And, we're missing something really huge right there.
Right.
Things are linked. These things are linked.
Yeah, I would always want to ask people if I were in that conversation, in the kind of environment that I've always worked in, who's setting you against your Jewish neighbors? Who is it that's driving that conversation to you? And I would ask the same thing about Jewish, but who is it that's driving that opinion of black people to you? Who's
right? And that's an important thing to bring up too, that I feel like Jewish Americans are not great at, is denying that we don't have a pristine record of properly standing with the black community. And a lot of Jewish Americans of a certain age, particularly the boomers, I'm sorry, who are very much like, they've got a Forrest Gumpian vision of how they stood with black people during civil rights.
Right.
And it's not necessarily accurate even in that period. And it kind of ignores like, well, hey, that was 60 years ago.
Right. And it's easy to point to people who did volunteer to go to the South and register voters and risk their lives. But there were a lot of folks that didn't, whether they were Jewish or Italian American or Catholic.
A lot of the rabbis that stood with MLK actually got ostracized by their congregations back home. That's a fact. That is a thing that happened. So, it's a very complicated issue. I would recommend to anyone that's still watching this past 8 p.m. on a weekday. James Baldwin wrote very frequently and eloquently and with great nuance and tact on Black-Jewish relationships. If you're interested in the topic, it's frankly a topic that I don't think a lot of people, period, know enough about. And Baldwin, I think, really nails it. He nails the way that the complicated relationship intersects with capitalism and notions of whiteness and Christian nationalism, frankly. It's fucking fascinating. He was a great writer.
Yeah. All right. So you've reminded me that I could spend some money this week to buy actual books, and I have not read enough James Baldwin. So that's definitely
buy some James Baldwin.
People I should be reading more of.
Absolutely.
I've always loved the audio lectures that I've heard by him. Haven't read enough of his actual writing, so I think maybe I need to sit down and do that. All right, everybody. I think that's going to do it for So Local Live / Florida for Change.
Yes.
Except for those few minutes where we had to, change hats briefly. I've been really grateful to my employers. They've been very generous in letting me continue to do this and swear. Which they were probably not going to be able to stop me from doing anyway, except I couldn't do the show at all. But we want to thank you for tuning in. We want to thank our Patreon sponsors, and we also want to remember to thank again Kelly Smith Realtor. The number is in the chat, and the Zaya Law Firm. Listen, we're going to try to do this on a Monday or Tuesday night. But between now and the election, you should expect that it's entirely possible Sam and I have walked our legs into stumps and can't really get to the camera. But we're happy to hear from you. And if you want to, send us a message, send us some encouragement, send us a nice coffee, whatever you want to do. We love to hear from you. And we really want to see you get out. Don't forget, Thursday afternoon, 4:00, the Likes Park, downtown Tampa. We're going to meet up. We're going to listen to I almost said the wrong caster, Kathy Castor and Val Deming speak. And
we're going to listen to a Fender Telecaster guitar.
Yes. I would like that.
I would like that too.
I'd go to the park for that. So if you want to join us, if you didn't get the information, message me or message Sam about any of that, and we'd be happy to fill you in. And I'm going to go pass out is the technical term for what I'm going to do.
The technical term. Cool.
Yeah. Going to sit around for a while and fall asleep in my chair.
Love that.
All right. We love you guys. And don't forget, what do we always say, Sam?
Sasquatch is real.
See, I thought you were going to go with "Don't get eliminated," which would have been really funny, but no. The real answer is Sasquatch is real.
The real answer.